as a composition need to be the composition that gets ahead earlier. But
here's going to be the all-in. He's fighting in the minion wave, so he's going to take a bunch of damage. Passive autos are coming out. Fish Mystery is going to continue to get those autos out. Flash in is going to come in. Shield's going to come through. The autos are going to be there, and Fish Mystery is...
But one of the big things here is that, you know, INT needs to be the one getting ahead early.
Utility Monster is going to be going in. Now the ultimate is going to be available for the Shen. Red Smite's going to be in. That's going to be the stun coming out from Delta. The root is in. Joshi's getting the autos out. Utility is going to get the poke, and that's going to be the first kill. And now Evolve Noobs, we go. Evolve Noobs be in trouble. Auto's coming through. Stun's not going to be here just yet. That's going to be Delta getting the stun off to force the flash away. Bunch of damage coming in, and that is the ultimate that's going to land on Utility Monster, but no more damage is going to come through for execute. Now Brock Lee has dashed over the wall. Nami is going to be in trouble, and she is going to get out. Let's get her T shutdown picked up on Utility Monster. So huge. She's going to get the autos onto Zenzen. He's caught out. The flip isn't going to land, but that is going to be the damage, and that's going to be a beautiful R.
Oh my god!
That's the dash in, and that's going to be Fish McGish finding the first kill. Shut down our bunch of damage that Delta has managed to put out. Alpha Batter is going to be the first one to die. That's the ultimate being picked up. This is a good team fight already for the side of INT, and there's so much damage is coming out onto this onto Joshi, who's going to be forced to go away. But that's going to be the re-engage. Utility Monster's going to find it. Evolve Noob doesn't have enough damage, and Brock Lee is too much. And the boys are back for FOF Game 2 in the trees versus Rex Regalis. And the first one was a bit of a smashing by Rex Regalis. Played extremely well, really high performing on their part. The 4 coaches diff was just too hard. Let's hopefully in the trees is going to come back with something stronger, because I want this to go to a series, and I want to see some fight in them. And I know they have it. I know they have. They are former champions, and they have a lot of faith that they are going to bring it back stronger than this next round. How you doing today, Anti?
I am doing quite well for myself. You know, I would love to see another series going forward. The Jarvan actually going to be banned, which means that they're not going to be looking to take Jarvan early on the blue side. The Gnar and Set instantly being banned out from both teams. You know, there's that really high respect from both teams. You know, it's like, hey, their top laner is really good at this champion. Don't give it to them.
Yeah, absolutely. And the cat being taken away to the old special. And then yet again,
keep getting through.
Misfortune is going to be the first selection up. You see Anti's going through his breakdown. This will be a general occurrence whenever we do see this champion appear in the game, one of the strongest AD carries around. And then the salty run back by Rex Regalis. I like it.
This is just, they're just swapping. They're literally just swapping team comps. Oh my god, there's no way.
It's the salty rump. This is better. This is so much better.
Oh my god.
Please, this needs to be Janna. This needs to be Janna.
Do it.
I hate Janna. Don't want to see her played again, but this needs to be Janna.
But it would be so funny.
Come on, boys. You got it in you. 13 seconds. This is more climactic than anything we can be saying right now. 10.
Okay,
5 seconds coming. Come on. What could it has to be. They're thinking about it. They're pondering it. And it's right. Oh, no.
That is a much better pick, but man, it would have been so fun. It would have been so fun. They could have done it. They totally could have done it.
Yeah, Mr. Chunks had a really fantastic game on this Misfortune last time around, so it's going to be interesting to see how it does in the hands of Brock Lee or Fish McGish. We're still not 100% sure, one or the other, but yeah. And then as Rex Regalis picks up the Vel'Koz geometry locked in, this is why we love FOF, man. We see the champions you don't see anywhere else, and I love it.
And Zenzen going to be picking up that Vel'Koz for themselves on R3, which means they can ban away 2 of the counter picks. You know, it's barely a blind pick if you already do get the ability to ban away the counter picks. And once again, Industry is going to be taking away the Zac from Utility Monster, right? You know, they've already taken away the Jarvan. They're taking away the Zac. And I feel like they're going to try and pinch Utility Monster yet again. Because, you know, Shen is a very blind pickable champion. There's not really a need to ban away something else from Joshi, because, you know, you're probably going to do fine blind. I wouldn't hate seeing the Ornn taken off the table, though.
Yeah, absolutely. But this last ban for the side of Industries is almost certainly going to be Jarvan. I would expect almost nothing else, especially if you do.
Jarvan was already banned in first rotation.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Jarvan is already banned in first rotation. My bet on that, this should most likely then still be another jungler ban.
Xin Zhao, maybe?
Yeah, I would say Xin Zhao is probably the other option, but they haven't selected up their jungler either, so they do want to keep the opportunity to get a decent trade if that is going to be the avenue that they are looking for. With the twist, I do like the Twisted Fake being taken away from the side of Rex Regalis. It is a good counter pick into the Vel'Koz. And with the Amumu still taken away. So that is interesting. Ro already selected up. They would have to have put Amumu in the jungle, and he is not very strong in the jungle at the moment.
Delta doesn't play any champions that he's willing to try to counter jungle with. You know, like Kiana could absolutely like run over a Moo in the jungle. So like I still like I understand the reasoning if you don't want to pick a counter jungle champion, but like I don't know. I feel like there's so many.
All right, so while that gets resolved, looks like Joshi is still beating Tank Senpai, taking the Shen in the first game, and now the Sion in the second matchup. He had been a main focal point, a major carry. It's interesting that they are choosing to swap him out and be more on a supportive role. I do like the Science being selected up in the specific Shen matchup because Shen has a very difficult time punishing it. And that is Viego, one of my personal favorite picks. The Transformation Man is here, and he has a heartbreaking ultimate that he's going to be ready to share. So,
yeah,
really,
and
I do like what Industries has picked up so far.
Yeah, and in the latest patch, you know, Viego was buffed quite a bit, and Evolve going to be taking up the signature Azir pick. You know, Vel'Koz, a very immobile champion, so, like, yes, you're going to get one stream of Shuffle, Vel'Koz can flash out of it, but the second one, you know, once Vel'Koz flashes down, sitting duck for Azir right here. And yeah, I think that Delta should be able to use this Viego to a great effect. You know, we've seen In the Trees use it before, you know, Bow Explode on that Viego early in the season. And the Kha'Zix's going to be picked up for Utility Monster.
Yeah, really interesting on the side of Tilly Monster taking the Kha'Zix. Now, I do expect him to try to go more of a Gore Drinker Bruiser route because there's basically no one you're going to one-shot with lethality in this matchup. We should almost never be in range to hit Misfortune or the Azir, and you always got to be careful going too close to Azir because the bird is the word, and the Shuffle can always ruin your day. So, In the Trees picking a much better composition than I think they selected last time. This is very close to their wheelhouse, and honestly, with any delay, Chris, we can't wait any longer. Bring us into the matchup because this one's going to be spicy.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see how things go. Maybe we see the Viego go the crit route this time. I believe that's the one that just got buffed.
It is, but please God, don't do that.
Not a fan?
Oh, it's. I mean, if you're like a master Viego player, or like, and I don't mean like master as in like masters. I mean master and like you're literally a Viego one trick, then maybe. But in general, it's still safer to go the Divine Sunder route.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
You don't just get obliterated by everything. And,
absolutely, like Sunder is so much safer, but crit's so funny to watch.
Oh, absolutely. And the thing about Viego is his damage is kind of negligible as the champion himself. He relies really heavily on those transforms. So, I mean, basically all of his damage is in the Heartbreaker, his ultimate. So as long as provided you still build something that's allowing you to stay alive for long enough for the resets, that's basically your only goal of these fights anyway.
Yeah, interestingly enough, INT going to get down 2 wards in the top side. One of them, I'm not sure. I don't think it actually even captures the Raptor Pit, so I feel like those wards, one of them will invalidate the other, honestly. So, off to an interesting start, but I don't know. Doesn't really get that much info for them.
And we didn't talk about this much last game, so I do want to get your opinion on it. Now, me personally, I hate the Ignite on the Shen top lane. I do not know why people are doing it. Shen, if you solo kill your lane, great, but like in general, having the teleport as the extra ability to join team fights is just way more useful. I mean, like you have to play pretty bad on the side of the enemy layer to die to a Shen. Anyway, even with Ignite, so. I kind of wish people would just go more standardized and stop trying to 300 IQ this.
I think one of the big things about Shen taking Ignite in the top lane is you have actual kill pressure with Ignite. You know, like I understand that, you know, Shen is one of those champions that you don't really see getting that much kill pressure or like, you know, early kills, but his early damage is actually very high. You know, Chunks and Alk Battery gonna get that level 2 and absolutely chub out Jeff and Brock here. But you know, Fish on that Ignite Shen has the pressure, you know, will get the early priority, which means that he can walk into the jungle, get some... Oh,
Ooh, really well done on the side of Mr. Chunk. This is how you're supposed to play this lane, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is the correct way it's supposed to look, and you saw how as soon as the dash in, Tyco's blessing comes through, the extra damage and the slow onto the Lucian passive, really well done. And that's already the pot out for Misfortune, so this lane is not going to either. All the sustain already gone, so it's going to take her quite a long time to sustain back up, and should drop a considerable amount of CS on this wave under the tower.
Ooh, and this time Out Battery is going to be rocking the Airy Nami. So we got Comet on the Misfortune and Airy on the Nami. So we got two very different Keystone choices and two very different playstyles. Broccoli going to get tagged with that Light Slinger. And man, this is looking very, very different.
Yeah, you can tell Mr. Chunks is a seasoned 80 carry rating, man. He's just playing in these lanes so much better, consistently dodging in and out of ranges, not allowing the trades. That's going to be this first round missing, so the stun is going to land onto Alpha Battery, a little bit of a trade in there. But you see, even when the avenue goes and you try to do something aggressive, the trade back is too good as Mr. Chunks maintains solid positioning.
And Delta is just going to walk right over, just going to go down to that bot Crab. I don't know if he's going to be able to get it, though, because Utility Monster's right there.
Yeah, it's quite a walk, and Viego sure as snot cannot contest a Kha'Zix early on in the river. I mean, he does have the mid lane movement, but Azir walking over is still less dangerous than the Vel'Koz early. And that is going to be the Crab being picked up. Interesting that Vel'Koz didn't choose to use the Disruption to break the shield for the Kha'Zix, help him do it a little faster, but just small optimization, but either or, that's going to be a closer jungle matchup than last time, as Viego is managing to stay up closer in farm than what we saw in the opening of the last matchup.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, we see in that top lane matchup that while, I said that Fish with Ignite has that kill pressure, Fish is getting this quite large CS lead on Joshi that we don't expect this much of a CS lead this early on, right? That's 9 CS. Fish, in a bad position here.
That is going to be a decent trade on the side of Joshi. A lot of CS for the Shen to pick up, so he will be quite ahead if he does manage to grab the majority of that. But yeah, as you said, the Ignite as a laning tool can be quite useful, but Sion just does a decent job of maintaining his ranges, not allowing the easy taunts in, and you see the punishment that in some of these lanes that have been selected up as this bot lane is going to be a major problem. There's already a big CS advantage being expanded in that lane.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see, Fish has that CS lead in the top lane, but it's basically equalized in the bot lane. And INT going to be down about 100, 200 gold in this early game.
Yeah, and this could easily get extremely dangerous. You see the wave positioning it is right now. If they had been opting to shove, they could have easily bounced back the wave fully, had the waves meeting to the middle, and then Misfortune just never walks up and is forced to recall. They aren't going to get it at the moment, but they do still have that play if they do manage to kill this cannon fast enough. But yeah, this Rock Lee is basically never going to be able to play the game for an extended period of time after this, and there's no help for Delta in anywhere close. They're just kind of letting this bot lane fry for a bit. Here we go, first gank of the game onto Joshi. There's basically no way you kill a Scion, so just a little love tap. The ultimate goes through, Dash is going to come in. Another stun, Jeff is not going to land anything. Mr. Chunk's in melee range, continuously to get those autos out, and that's the flash forced out from the Rel. And geez, this bot lane is 2 HP under the tower. They're going to need to be concerned about these teleport cooldowns also, because they are a dive target at the moment.
And this is like a classic example of why pick a top tier isn't always the right answer. Like, because you have these really strong meta picks that, if you play them, sure, they're strong, but if you don't have the know-how or the experience to actually play them effectively, you're really not going to get as much use out of it, right?
This to me is an example of why autofill is bad.
Yeah.
This is if we'll send this game off to Riot and be like, this is why we don't allow autofill anymore. Please, just remove it, because stuff like this happens and then everyone's miserable. And now, while Misfortune's only 20 CS behind, it could be much worse, but they're going to need to do something to try to alleviate the bleeding, because at the moment, it's across the map, and with Fishmish, because having his ultimate available isn't an opportunity to punish this Lucian Nami, who's going to be pushing in extremely heavily, and Nami's always vulnerable to get.
And, I don't know, is that a Noon Quiver? That's going to be a Noon Quiver on the Comet build. That's interesting. I didn't expect to see the crit for the Comet Misfortune build here, but I think that's what we're going to get from Brock Lee.
And frankly, I don't like this, especially if you're in a matchup where you're losing. There's just more sustain on the lethality build. You can go the Eclipse early. You can get that early Vamp Scepter, get some tools to be able to survive the laning phase. And your bases are so efficient when you go lethality. Every time you go to base, no matter what happens, you always can get a longsword the majority of the time. You always can get something to help stave off the damage. And frankly, now that he's going to crit build, he's going to have a much slower transition. He's going to rely more on his team to help him bail out of this laning phase that is already kind of exacerbated with how bad it is. The wave is shoving back into him, but it's not getting any easier as they're going to be under kill threat for this an extended period of time, especially if Delta wastes any more time in the spotlight.
Yeah, and if you just look around the map, you know, there's not too much going on. They don't have the huge amount of vision bot side that they did have earlier. But Delta gonna get...
Oh, here we go. Stun's gonna land a bunch of damage. Alk Battery forced to flash away, and the Heartbreaker seals it as the first kill is gonna be taken up by Delta. Once again, good trade, getting the first blood. And the patience paid off as Evolved Nuke is gonna be forced to dash away from the ultimate.
Yeah, Delta picking up that first kill, incredibly important here, but Utility Monster immediately gonna trade the map, look to get that Rift Herald, and probably get some plates down onto, I believe... They should give it to Lucian, honestly. I think that Chunks is going to absolutely scale out of control in this game. And the champions that could get on top of him are Azir, maybe with the shuffle, and Viego, which, you know, Lucian's so good at dealing with that.
Absolutely, taunt in, Utility Monster taking a bunch of damage, but the trade damage is coming through. He's all by himself, flash out, auto's coming in, Utility Monster is going to get the trade. 1-for-1 for Fish Magish, and Utility Monster trading. Now the fight is on, Delta is going to be getting stunned up, the Q is just going to be a slow, and Jeff is here first. The dash in's going to come in, that's the ultimate available. This is going to be a bunch of damage, Zenzen forced to flash. Blue Smite has come in, the last bit of damage onto Zenzen is not provided yet, barrier is still available, as the flash stun is going to come in, that's going to be the pickup.
Resets?
To Delta for grabbing it. The reset is here, and Delta is over the wall. He is going to have the ultimate available. He's going to choose to not go for anything further, as that is a one-team fight for the side of In the Trees, and a good fight overall, making that way up for the side of Jeff.
Yeah, really good stuff from Delta there. The one thing that INT needs here is to get that Viego ahead, because, you know, Lucian's super strong. Vel'Koz is going to end up being super strong, and while they have a very strong front-to-back team fight, the one anti-carry that INT has is this Viego pick. And Viego getting 2 kills this early on could mean disaster for Rex.
Yeah, absolutely. He's the big snowball carry. He is the one who's looking for all the damage. He is going to go the crit build, so yikes. But if he manages to pull it out, it is something that can still be quite effective. I mean, I'm a believer in Delta, so no matter what he decides to do, I'll have faith that he can pull it off. And he's going to need to be the big carry. He's the sub, and he's the guy who's replacing Boexplode, and he has big shoes to fill. And frankly, after his performance last game, I think he has it in him to pull out something special.
Absolutely. We've seen some really well-played mechanical outplays from Delta, especially in that last game. You know, we saw that incredibly powerful Supreme display of talent, and showing off his own stuff there. And the crit Viego is a very strong pick, just super, super volatile. It's really, really easy to shut down, but if you get those resets, dear lord, he does so much damage.
And resets is what we may be seeing. Both junglers hanging around this mid lane. Now Delta is going to be channeling his recall. Utility Monster wasting a bunch of time in this mid lane, trying to find his way onto Evolve New. That's going to be the dash in. Utility Monster is going to be here first. Flash out is going to be there. Stun up onto Utility Monster's cottage, taking a bunch of damage. Vel'Koz laying over top. Otto's coming through. The flash out is going to be there. Delta is not going to find it. And now the teleport is going to come in through Sign. He has ultimate available. He's going to be looking for the stun. Fish Magish trying to play his Scully Boil, preventing anything further. As this bot lane is going to find himself a fight. And ultimates are coming through. And the ultimate channels as Broccoli puts him down. And this flash out is still going to be coming. Misfortune has the flash available soon. Flash auto is still here, and he is going to grab it, as that's going to be the love tap drop in Lucian. And a good duo kill from the side of Broccoli and Jeff, finding a good entrance into this game. They have been struggling, but 2 kills is going to change all of it.
Yeah, one of the big things where, you know, Alk Battery and Chunks looks like they had such a stranglehold on that lane, but one fight turns it around, one engage, and one W ulti coming from Jeff, and all of a sudden it's basically even, if not ahead, for the Misfortune.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. She's definitely ahead in gold after this shutdown sitting on her. She's going to go back to base, grab up that Kraken, or maybe Gale Force. Options are available, but no matter what she decides, this is a big misfortune. And you see the pressure Rel can put out. She has one trick, and if that trick lands, she will almost always get a kill. The ultimate is just so useful on that end. But yeah, this well done on the side of this bot lane. They're showing up. Broccoli and Jeff showing some heart, showing that they still have some faith and they're still going to be useful. As the shield bolt is going to be the option for Jeff, for Delta, and I like this. This is something that will still provide some form of tankiness and utility, but also a bit more damage than what we usually see with the Divine Thunder.
Absolutely, and
yeah. Absolutely, that is going to be what we're going to be looking at. Bishop Spaghetti and Joshi still trading in this top lane. Not a lot of damage coming in yet. Joshi getting a pretty decent trade, getting these autos out. So Bishop Spaghetti is going to be forced to walk away, and that's like the third time he's taken a trade where Joshi's just going to beat him down. So he's going to need to be more concerned about this Scion damage because getting shoved under the tower is quite dangerous for this matchup.
yeah, especially as Scion gets levels, that Q has such a high AD ratio. It ends up doing so much damage. A good cancel from Fish there, but I don't know.
Oh, good cancel for Fish and good cancel for Zenzen as he's trying to have his life canceled. He's going to be able to walk it out really close. Utility Monster's going to get it, but that's the reset. So Utility Monster's going to be forced to walk away. He's going to need to be concerned. Ultimate's going to come in. Both smites are used, but the red buff is angry and is going back to the pit. So the reset is going to be there, but really good kill on the side of Delta, picking up his third one. This man is on a killing spree already and really pressuring out Zenzen, who has been struggling in this lane. Oh, ultimate and flashes there. Mr. Chunks is going to be out. He can't get out. He's taking so much damage. Broccoli is going to be there. And the stun was still available. It just came up. So if that would have landed, that could have easily been Mr. Chunks' life. But choosing to play it safer and all of the damage. And now you see how much pressure is just being put out by Jeff and Broccoli getting these trades onto this lane.
Yeah, you know, Alk Battery opting to throw out the ultimate relatively late. You know, not going to end up canceling that bullet time. Not sure if they were honestly CC'd during that time, so might not have been able to cancel it. But this Misfortune Rel lane is doing so much damage.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a kill lane, right? So if you're not at Mr. Chunks playing and Alk Battery playing your ranges properly, getting poked down, making it so that Rel cannot engage off of fear of death, then she just can look for it constantly. You see every time she has an opportunity, flash up, hex flash up, or anything that's in her pocket, she's going to continue to look. And you're so squishy, you can't play a full HP fight and expect to win it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that cleanse going to be coming up from Mr. Chunks, you know. Oh, Zenzen.
That's going to be the ultimate. Zenzen does not have flash yet, but actually he does, and he is going to be forced to use it. So kind of janky combo, but still gets the flash out of Zenzen, and he's just been pressured constantly. This mid lane 2v2 between Evolve and Delta is continuously finding pressure, and well done on their part, because this is going to allow Vel'Koz to be enough behind that's not going to be a one-shot threat onto this 0 later on.
And like we said earlier, you know, this Vel'Koz, while, you know, you're going to be able to get out, you're going to be able to put out damage from a long ways away, every time Azir's got that Stream of Shuffle available, if you don't have Flash, you're basically done for.
Yep, you either flash it and live, or don't flash it and die, or don't have flash it and flash and die. Options are limited. Here comes the engage, and this is going to be a big stun. That's a lot of damage. Ultimate already used onto Alk Battery, but
good
the flash is going to be there. Mr. Chunks is going to be the first one who dies, but that's going to easily be traded, as now that's going to be the shutdown. So Broccoli has found himself into the Death Gamer as well. Jeff is going to be on the walkout. Utility Monster trying to catch him, and that is going to be the bubble picking it up, but Kha'Zix's getting the kill, and that's a double kill for Utility Monster.
Yeah, and it was looking so good from INT there, but if you watch closely, so, you know, Jeff's going to be walking up, looking for the engage, gets the W ulti, and the Shen ult comes down, but the tidal wave canceling the bullet time saves that fight so much, and Utility Monster being right around the corner means that they have more than enough damage to absolutely turn this around.
Yeah, absolutely. While Utility Monster gets the kills, Alk Battery gets the credit because he smurfed that fight. Getting the ultimate canceling onto the Misfortune ultimate, and then getting the bubble, locking her up for the Vel'Koz ultimate. So a bunch of things, as Joshi's going to be in a bit of trouble, forced the ultimate away. No way he's going to die with that available, but Delta is getting a lot of extra gold, getting a lot of extra CS into this lane, going to be able to get a good shove in there. But the biggest difference is the fact that Zenzen walked down and Evolved Noob chose not to. He had his teleport, he had an option, but he just didn't think it was necessary, and he got punished because Zenzen picking up some kills is really going to help since he's been punishing so often with the constant ganks from Delta.
Yeah, and that is a Luden's Echo once again getting a lot of Magic Pen on the board for Zenzen. You know, I still think that Luden's and Protobelt giving Magic Pen on a Mythic passive is kind of silly, because you can just build full on, you know, AP, whatever it is you want, and you got like, what, like 30 free Magic Pen or something crazy like that, and you build like a Void Staff, and then you get flat pen and percent pen on top of that. What a phenomenal item.
Absolutely. It is trying to negate the nerfs that mages did take. They don't get as much AP as they previously did, but for a champion like Vel'Koz, he really does not care. Vel'Koz was never an AP snacker. His damage really isn't based off of his raw AP numbers. It's more important for him to have magic penetration because of how his ultimate works and the fact that a portion of it is true damage. But this is going to be the fight. Blast Cone over, and now this is going to be the event. That's going to be the Smite.
Oh my god!
Utility monster, but so much damage. Delta's going to die first. The shuffle is going to come in, but everyone's too late. Bodies are already dropping. And this is way too much for INT as they're going to give over 5 kills. And frankly, that fight was just completely disjointed with both the mid laner and the jungler doing nothing in the fight.
Yeah, you know, you got Evolved Noob running on in, getting that ulti off, but hits like 1 or 2 people, barely does anything, and Fish gonna block as many autos as you want with the W. It doesn't matter how many autos you block if the rest of your team is dead, and it looks like they're going to pivot right over to Baron after taking the mid tower.
Absolutely.
No,
18 minutes, Rift Herald. But on the Rinse, once again, you got to give credit to Alkbatter. He's been playing this Nami immaculately. As soon as the jump over happens, he gets the double bubble, lands onto Delta. He's dead before he even can use his flash smite or anything else. And his Viego is the majority of your damage at this point. So if he's out, there's nothing to follow. And just once again, you just seeing the punish that's been coming in from INT's over aggression. They were so ahead early, and once again, Rex is now pushed back and gotten control.
And they're just gonna look to try to get some vision back down on the map, try to reset, try to get yourself back in. But now they're down 2,000 gold when it looked so good at the beginning. That Viego pops like a balloon.
Yeah, absolutely. Shield Bow did nothing on it, and you see, even if he had Divine Thunder, he would have died no matter what. At that point, he just takes too much damage. Nami Bubble is such a long CC. It's one of the longest individual CCs on an ability in the game. It's balanced by the fact that it should be almost impossible to hit if you have hands, but it can be difficult to see in team fights, and if it does land, it's extremely punishing. So it's a knockup combined with a stun, and frankly, you need to always be concerned since we haven't been seeing Nami in play. As you see, look at that. And as soon as it lands, the bodies are there, and that's a flash out forced from the side of Delta, who is going to barely make it out. Jeff's going to get the ultimate from the side of Fish McGish. So that is going to be the trade. He's barely going to make it out by the skin, but now Brock Lee's got dashed on. He's found himself in the Death Chamber, and this is a Rift Herald push. So the towers are continuously up. Now, they should absolutely not take this inhib, and I'm sure Joshi knows better, but Fish McGish is going to be dashing away. And come on, Joshi, you know better than taking a 20-minute inhib.
Honestly, the 20-minute inhib, while mathematically isn't technically correct, you already do have so much power on the map that being able to take Baron off of that is completely fine. Shelly was already charging into it, so you know there's little that you can actually do about that anyway. And they're going to rotate over to the top lane to grab another tower on top of that. And this gold lead is absolutely getting insurmountable.
Yeah, 5,000 gold expanded up, and you know it wouldn't be that bad to take an early inhib, but you got to remember this is in the mid lane, one of the easiest lanes to push out. You'll still be able to contest Baron, and you're kind of feeding Azir a bunch of gold, so you always need to be concerned about that. And frankly, Evolved Noob hasn't found his way into the game yet. He had one good shuffle, but eventually his team was already dead, and there was no other follow up. So. It's going to be on this Azir to have an impact and to be useful because these fights aren't getting any easier, and the CC needs to land onto basically everybody if they're going to try to get an even numbered fight.
Oh, absolutely, and I totally understand what you're saying. You know, from a mathematical perspective and from a practical perspective, totally makes sense. It's just one of those things where it's like the inhib this early when you're this far ahead isn't honestly the worst thing on the planet. Oh.
So Utility Monster's gonna snipe away the blue. You know, just get a little bit of obvious trolling. Good on Zenzen for having his bubbles ready. You know, his emotes trying to show off a little bit. And now you see that there is going to be a bit of pressure into this mid lane. The super minions are going to be shoving in. Items are going to be quite slow. There's not really anything to fight for a minute's time. We're going to be waiting on this Infernal Dragon, and I don't expect this to be a fight that Industries is going to look for. Evolved News is going to get the dash out. Good Ultimate's going to try to save his life.
Oh
and
my
he's going to
God.
be dead instantly. That's an isolated Q, and he's isolated and done for, as Delta's going to find his way to join him in just a moment. Evolved Utility Monster's hunting, and he is not going to find it, as the Kha'Zix is not going to be able to squash anybody else, but this is going to be another tower given over.
Yeah, Utility Monster doing so much damage with that Dustblade. Not even going to be the percent pen from the Eclipse. And that Dustblade is... Oh my god, that Kha'Zix damage is ridiculous.
Yeah, as soon as he walked away from the minion, an isolated Q is all she wrote. It's probably about 700-800 damage at this point. You know, it's always the Kha'Zix special. He is the solo queue champion for all solo queue champions, but he does sometimes find his way into competitive, and we see how effective he can be if he does find his way to get some items and some gold in his pocket. As that's going to be an extremely quick dragon, third Drake on the clock, and this is a dangerous comp to give Infernal Soul.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the big things that we know about Kha'Zix is that with the Evolve Q, Kha'Zix is one of the best objective-taking junglers in the game. You know, outclassed by, you know, I don't know, Nunu. Nunu's more for secures rather than raw DPS to objectives. But Kha'Zix is straight up, he's definitely up there with that. So this inhib being down in the mid lane means that this Baron is on the table for Rex here.
Yeah, a Kha'Zix on the Baron buff with a Vel'Koz is extremely fast, so much true damage, and I wouldn't be surprised if they just start this right. They know that there's barely any vision from the side of in the trees. You do it so quickly. They are just going to opt to start it. Now, there is going to be a slow walk away, but this is just going to be gone. There's no way that they're going to be able to walk over in time, and this is just going to be a free Baron. I don't expect any steal options are going to be available, and it looks like that's all she wrote, as Rex is going to grab an early 24-minute Baron smited away by the Kha'Zix. And now this is the point in the game where you're just trying to survive.
Oh,
Ultimate forced out on from Delta, and that's going to be Utility Monster, who uses his dash in also. So well done on that part for him to get away. Got some cooldowns out. Fisher's McGish gets a tower in the bot lane, but this siege is going to be extremely hard to run. You have a Vel'Koz with Baron buff who's going to be able to poke out forever. So this is going to be really on to Jeff to see if he can find a good engage.
Yeah, it's either going to be Jeff or Evolve Noob. I can totally see a Shurima Shuffle coming in. Vicious McGish being able to ulti on top of someone, making it less of a risk as you think. Yeah, it's going to get stunned up right there, and they're just waiting for the next wave at this point.
Yep, getting some good poke in. This is a full ARAM position. No one is looking to split push the waves. Just one wave coming in. Stun onto Joshi. Too tanky, though, for anything further. Ultimate is going to force the Azir out. And so now they know this is a 4v5. Just going to walk up and hit the tower. There's no more fight. There's no more pressure, as once again, Mr. Chunks finds the damage onto a carry that's going to give a free inhibitor. And now it looks like they might just seize the Nexus because they are ready to fight.
Yeah, they're posturing for this. They're just going to get the reset on the inhib. And I feel like they just leave after here. Oh,
here's the ultimate 4-man on it. That's going to be everybody.
Oh
that's
my God.
That's going to be the big combo. So many bodies are dead already. Resets coming in, and that's going to be everybody picked up. And once again, Jeff found it, and Jeff found it all, as that's going to be everybody dropping. And while Zion does grab the inhib, that is a big team fight for the side of In the Trees.
Yeah, and just another glimmer of hope for In the Trees. Jeff with a phenomenal engage, going to lock everyone down for the full duration of that bullet time. But Broccoli also sitting on the same exact build as Chunks did last game, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. Same build, going to BT, trying to get that extra pressure. Now some tower gold is going in. This is a massive gold spring. This was almost a 7,000 gold lead, back down to 3. After this tower, it's going to be a clean 2k gold difference. So, In the Trees is back into it. They may not know it yet, but they are, and they have an opportunity to really bring this game back if they can fight for this next dragon. A minute and a half before Soul, and that's going to be the fight that's going to decide the game.
Unfortunately, that soul is coming up in a minute and a half, but they still have two super waves to deal with on the top and mid side, which is going to make sure that one person, probably Evolved Noob, is not going to be in the right position for drag to get the early priority. You can definitely clear the waves and then teleport in, but it's still not quite the same.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, there's going to be no flash for the side of Jeff, so he won't be able to get that aggressive play again. And it's really on this route to get a good engage, to find an angle. The ultimate for her is the same thing as Zara if you ever played Overwatch. And it can make or break a fight. And at this point, they're going to need him to do a lot. As you know, Jeff has been able to find it on multiple occasions, and Fish Magish can't die here. This is 50 seconds. He will be dead for the dragon. He's going to have to do his best to get out. He's continuing to fight it out, trying to get as much damage onto Utility Monster, and he's continuously finding it, but he's not going to be able to use it. Just going to be the taunt missing, Utility Monster grabbing it, and 40 seconds onto the Shen. He will be dead until Dragon spawns. He will have ultimate available on spawn now.
Yeah, and Joshi going to sit right in this bush? Not quite.
Good check on the side of Evolved Noob, finding him, getting some poke out. 26 seconds onto this dragon before it spawns, and you have 25 on the Shen. This is going to be extremely close timing, and they're going to try to find an angle. Jeff getting poked out, a bunch of damage onto this Rel, and the angle for what they're getting, as Tidal Wave's going to come in, that's going to be the stun landing. So much damage forced onto Broccoli already. That's going to be the shots is on the back line, and the Kazas is going to be resetting. The bug is smashing, and the bug is founded as 2 kills already for the side of Utility Monster, picking up both carries.
Yeah,
and GG, that's all she wrote as the game is over. As there's going to be no way this is going to be defended. Super minions are already on the base, and Fish Magish is going to try it. And let's see, are they going to be able to put together the 2v5 defense? As Delta is going to be getting his Shroud, going to get a decent amount of damage onto the Cosmos, forced to wash away, and now the fight's on. A bunch of damage following up. There's the tower's putting in a bunch of work, though, and that's going to be the tower that's going to be dropping. Utility Monster's still alive, but the dash in from the side of Mr. Chunks. He's going to drop Delta, and that's going to drop the game, as that's going to be the second matchup in a row that Rex Regalis is going to take.
Really good stuff from Rex there. You know, INT getting that early lead. It was looking so spooky for a bit, but Rex knew exactly what their win condition was. They knew exactly how they had to play that map. They knew how to make that comeback. I would love to see, you know, how much the golds was swinging back and forth, but Zen putting out so much damage on that Vel'Koz. So hard to get on top of him in those fights. And
absolutely.
I do want to make a huge shout out to Alpha Battery, though, because some of those tidal waves were incredible in that game.
Yeah, Alpha just demonstrated that he can. He took both sides of the matchup and he did it better. Well, a fantastic play onto this formerly 80 carry main. Note that these guys off rolling too, and he's smurfing it. And we're gonna give him all the credit in the world for that game. He is gonna be my MVP. And even though that's gonna be it for us casting today, there's gonna be a new duo for you, and I cannot wait for you guys to be excited to see who those two are gonna be, because they're gonna finish off this series. And frankly, let's all hope that In the Trees is gonna show some heart, show some grit, and show that they're gonna bring it back to some next couple games, because Rex has been on a tear, and that's gonna be. And stick around, because the break is just gonna be coming up right now.
I think Terracotta Gaming picked RLS over INT because they feel that we are capable of beating Rex. Like, I think it was a couple weeks ago that Rex fell to us, and I think Terracotta Gaming's plan is for us to take out Rex, and then they can take out RLS, because I think they've beaten RLS before. But once we take care of Rex and then they take care of RLS, I think they have a final in mind that they can easily win, because they don't think that we're that good of a team, but we're good enough to take care of Rex. So I think against both teams we're 1-1, but against Terracotta Gaming, we are 1-1, but in our loss to them, we had a really good lead, but we started to throw it away after a couple of misplays. So in my opinion, I think that we would have had a better chance against Terracotta Gaming. But on the other hand, Rex has been on a downfall for 3 weeks now. They lost 3 out of their last 5 games towards the end of the season. So, I mean, I guess if I didn't see that downfall from Rex, I think I would have chose Terracotta Gaming. But I think they're kind of even. So I wouldn't really know who to choose. I just know there's pros and cons for both.